Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our Instagram live session. My name, like I always say, has not changed. My name remains Azuh, Arinze, and my guest tonight is Mr. Christopher Isiguzo. Mr. Isiguzo is the National President of Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ. He hails from Umuahia, Abia State, and read mass communication at Federal Polytechnic, Oko, Anambra State. A this day ambassador, he began his journalism career in 1999. Tonight, he'll be sharing with us some of his plans for the over 40,000 journalists spread across the nation that he is leading, as well as other pertinent issues. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is the Yes NG TV, THEYESNG TV. Thanks once again, my president, for keeping to time, and welcome to this presidential chat. Let me put it that way.
Thank you very much. Good evening. It's good to be here with you.
Now, I would like to start by congratulating you on your re-election as a president of Nigerian Union of Journalists. Why do you think Nigerian journalists gave you another nod to lead them for the second time?
Well, once again, thank you for having me. Whenever you have opportunity of seeking for renewal of mandate, you must, within the period you had opportunity to serve. Re-election is a referendum on the previous mandate you were given. If you have been able to deliver, then the people would also have the opportunity of getting you back on track. But if you have not delivered, of course, it will be an opportunity to ask you to take the back seat and let them try another set of leaders. President, I campaigned based on my track record of achievement as vice president. Before becoming president, I was a vice president for 6 years. I was elected in 2015, and I was also in 2012, I beg your pardon. Then I was re-elected in 2015 as vice president. And within the period, we were able to deliver a verifiable service to journalists at that level. And when it was time to seek for higher service level, we also had to present ourselves to journalists across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. And we told them that within this period, 6 years, look at what we're able to do for journalists. And they felt that we had acquitted ourselves, so to speak, at that level of service. And they said, okay, let us see what you can offer at the national level. And in 2018, it may interest you to know that I was up against an incumbent then who was also seeking for re-election. There were about 7 of us that contested, 6 against the incumbent. And by the time the ballots were sorted out and counted, yours sincerely emerged the preferred choice
Choice.
in the country. So in 2021, that's 3 years down the line, we also offered ourselves for yet another service. And we went around the country reeling out our array of achievements within the period under review. Because when you want to lead the people, you must be able to present yourself to the same people you want to lead. And they will be able to assess you, because you are not going to re-elect yourself by yourself. The people must have found you worthy of such mandate to be given to you. And of course, we went round, and the journalists overwhelmingly, you can imagine where we got 665 votes against our opponent, who merely got 15 votes. And that would give you an idea of
a landslide.
Well, I don't. It's beyond landslide. I think that's
okay, S-slide.
It must be Hurricane Chris. Once again, we have been given another opportunity to serve journalists. Serving journalists is not a tea party, because you are here serving people, or rather leading people that believe they even know better than you. People that have been in practice before you. Like you said, we have barely stayed there for 21, 22 years. There are people that have been there for 30, 40, 50 years. There are people that even started from the birth of journalism in Nigeria. So, and you are here to lead them. It's not, it's not a tea party. You must get your lines, because so many things will be thrown at you.
Interesting. Now, in your first term, what would you describe as your greatest achievement?
Well, like I said, in 2018, when I contested for the NUJ presidency, my campaign focus was on rescuing the union, because we met a union that was so down, was at the decrepit level, at the lowest level. And we felt that we were going to give the union yet another lease of life. We met a union that the members, had virtually lost interest. We had met a union, the issue of non-payment of salaries, epileptic payment of salaries, were commonplace. We met a union where training and retraining were virtually absent. We met a union that was really down, and we felt that the same way we were able to do a few things at the level of zonal vice presidency, we could also offer some bite, some breath of fresh air, we might use that term, And in 3 years, we were able to change the narrative. Of course, I must tell you that at some point, staff of the National Secretariat of the Union were owed as much as 7 months arrears of salaries, 5 months, and as the case may be, you have journalists that to work at places where they were owed as much as 21 months arrears. In fact, there is a particular newspaper that they were owed 54 months.
Wow.
I know you'll be surprised to hear this. And we said that this is unheard of. We needed to change the narrative. And when we came, of course, at the level of the national leadership of the union, we made sure that payment of salary should not be toyed with. For 36 months I was president, I did not owe a single month salary. We paid everybody, and we're not just paying, we're paying minimum wage. The federal government approves minimum wage. So we're able to take care of that. And before we came on board, intermittently you hear about media houses. They are going to picket media houses. Picketing is more like declaring industrial disputes, where you shut down the place and nothing would happen and all that. But when we came, we said that we're not going to keep doing the same thing, over and over again. When you are actually looking for a different result, you are going to get a new strategy. You are going to get a new style. So for 3 years, I was president the first time. I didn't picket or approve any industrial action in any media house. But I must tell you that the story changed. So many media houses that became perennial debtors, that story has changed. You know, we were able to adopt the legal strategy, which is ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution Mechanism. You needed to sit down with these people and know what are their problems. It's not just about declaring industrial dispute. You must create time because you know that they are in business. You know, and there is one thing that is at the back of any proprietor, like you are a proprietor first, you know, and that thing is profit. If you open a business and you are not breaking even, now you are not making any profit, it simply means there's a major problem. There's a challenge, you know. So we needed to sit down with them and also share their challenges with them. You know, most of these media owners opened their books to us. We looked at them and we felt, okay, look at what we need to do. Look at what we need to do. But for us to take off, you've got to do this. At some point, we even had to issue an ultimatum. And I can tell you that a good number of them were able to, you know, agree with our own strategy. They said, okay, this is good, unlike what they used to have. You don't just have to let's shut it down. Some people felt that was the best strategy. But we must begin to change things. Let the stories change. You know, and that has paid off substantially. I will not sit down here and tell you that we've solved all the problems. It's just not easy. It's not as simple as it is. But the process, you know, it is said that the journey of 1,000 miles takes off with the first step. We have gone beyond the first step. We have, you know, had several steps. Now, the issue of training and retraining of members, you know that information is now moving at the speed of light. You know, things are changing. The way you did it in 1920, in 1817, is no longer the way the media operates today. Things are changing. And you've got to expose your colleagues to the changing dynamics. Let them also come to terms with the reality so that you can effectively compete with your contemporaries in other climes. You know, what they do differently, you see them and be able to flow. It is sad that, you know, at some point, even till today, there are journalists that don't understand how to operate the Instagram. Now we're doing Instagram live. Some people are surprised. How are you going to do that? You know, COVID-19 came in 2020 and, of course, shut down the entire system. It was a global terrorism, you know, and that was how everybody started virtual engagement. You have the Zoom, you have the, you know, so many of them. Many journalists are yet to come to terms with this reality. It is a new world. We cannot change it. You know, it has not to stay.
Yes, I would like to find out from you, in your second term, what will be your major focus? I mean, you've enumerated some of the things you did during your first coming. This is your second coming. What is going to be your major focus this time?
Good. We are going to ensure that we get the necessary legislation because it goes beyond just sitting down and discussing with people. You know, it becomes a gentleman agreement. But gentleman agreement can also be breached. You know, it can be operated in breach. That's the truth. But when you get the necessary legal backing, you know, the necessary legislation. For instance, a media house is owing journalists and they don't care. You come and appeal, maybe they pay 1 or 2 months and they continue doing things as if everything is in order. No, now we have what we call the Journalism Enhancement Bill. The Journalism Enhancement Bill. I would want to hand over this as a law by the time I leave office as the president of NUJ. It is going to be a whole package. It's going to address myriads of challenges facing media practice, stemming from economic challenge, ownership, censorship. You have the security and safety. Yes, we have the issue of protection which government ought to provide, but we needed to really have a full package. We don't have such law today, actually. You know, somebody will just open business and you go to a media house, substantial number of members of staff may not even be trained journalists. But because the person can read and write,
come to that.
You know, the person now begins to practice. So we have to, you know, have an acceptable minimum. You know, and that is what the Journalism Enhancement Bill, all things being equal, Journalism Enhancement Law would seek to address.